Welcome Algebra 1 students to another Regents review video. This is the Algebra 1 Common Core Regents exam for June 2016. These are the solutions to Part 1, questions 13 through 24 of this exam. This is the second half of the multiple choice section. Before we begin here, please do not cheat on using this video to get things done. Please try the problems by yourself. You learn so much more that way, I promise you. Hit that subscribe button down below and make sure that you visit my website at www.nysmathregionsprep.com. And I use the TI Inspire CX calculator for Algebra 1. I use it a lot. So if you want to buy it, perfectly fine with me because it is one powerful tool and you will never go back to any old calculator that you were using. Without further ado, let's begin. We're going to jump right to question number 13. Here we go. In a sequence, the first term is 4 and the common difference is 3. What is the fifth term of this sequence? So you need to know what's called the explicit form of a sequence. And this is actually found on your reference sheet. The explicit form of a sequence is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. This formula, ladies and gentlemen, could actually be used to find any term in a sequence that you might desire. So the common difference is 3, so that means that d is 3, your first term is 4, so therefore a sub 1 is 4. Plug it in, see what you get. So we get a sub n is equal to the first term, which is 4, plus n minus 1 times the common difference of 3. Great. This, ladies and gentlemen, is your explicit form. But the question's asking you find the fifth term. So what you're going to do here is you're just going to say, all right, I'm going to take 5, which is the number 5. I'm going to find a sub 5. Plug in 5 for n. So a sub 5 is equal to 4 plus 5 minus 1 times the common difference of 3. That gives you 4 plus 5 minus 1 is 4 times 3. That's going to be 4 plus 12. Which is going to be equaling 16. So your answer for number 13 is going to be choice 3. All right, number 14. The growth of a certain organism can be modeled by C of t equals 10 times 1.029 raised to the 24t, where C of t is the total number of cells after t hours. Which function is approximately equal to C of t? So what I would do if I were you is I would either graph this or actually do it algebraically. Let me show you how to do this algebraically first, and I'll be happy to show you how to do it on the graph. So C of t, which is 10 times 1.029 raised to the 24t, could actually be rewritten like this. If you separate the exponents, like so. So you could take C of t, that equals 10 times 1.029 raised to the 24th power raised to the t power. See how that works? Because this is a common exponent rule. You could actually multiply these two and you get back to the original number, or expression, I should say. So this is actually logically equivalent. So if you take 1.029 in your calculator, 1.029, and raise it to the 24th power, you get 1.986. So C of t is equal to 10 times 1.986 raised to the t power. Is that answer here somewhere? Is that answer there? Yes, it is. Choice 3. There you go. So that's your answer. I'm going to show you how to do it on the graph as well. So you could graph the original function, which is 10 times 1.029 raised to the 24x. I assume that most of you are going to prefer this way, just to match it up. And then you graph 10 times 1.986 raised to the x power, and if it overlaps each other, you're good to go, and it does so pretty darn nicely. So that's why it is going to be choice 3. All right, moving on to question 15. A public opinion poll was taken to explore the relationship between age and support for a candidate in an election. The results of the poll are summarized in the table below. What percent of the 24 to 40 age group was for the candidate? Okay, so 24 to 40 age group for the candidate, that is 30 people. Now, there are 50 total people in this age group that were surveyed. So all of these people in the 21 to 40 age group it sums to 50 people. To figure out the percent of people that was for the candidate, you just have to take 30 people who was for the candidate divided by the amount of 50. That's equal to 0.6, which is equal to 60%. And that is going to be choice 4. And that's all that you had to do for that one. All right, moving on to question 16. Which equation and ordered pair represent the correct vertex form and vertex for j of x equals x squared minus 12x plus 7? So you should know that the vertex form of this was found by using the completing the square method. So we actually need to complete the square to solve for this equation in vertex form. So we get x squared minus 12x. Remember, keep your letters on one side, numbers on the other. And we get negative 7 plus blank. Okay, so these blank spaces, remember, we just take half the middle term and we square it. So negative 12 over 2, we square it. So we get, that's negative 6 squared. That's going to be 36. Why did I put parentheses around that? I don't know. 36. So 36, 36. This can now be factored to x minus 6 by applying the method of what adds to negative 12 and multiplies to give you 36. And if you haven't noticed by now, when you complete the square, it's always the same binomial no matter what happens. Just in case you didn't realize that yet. Now, negative 7 plus 36 is going to be 29. Okay? So this could now be written as x minus 6 squared minus 29 if you move that back over. And this is equal to j of x. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the vertex form. All right, this is your vertex form. Now, the vertex can be easily determined using this form. The vertex is positive 6, negative 29. Well, why is that? Well, the parentheses show a horizontal shift. And remember that when it's inside the parentheses, the horizontal shift is always opposite your sign. This number right there, that's your vertical shift, which is always the same direction as the sign. So if it's negative, it's going down. So your vertex is positive 6, negative 29, and the only answer that works is going to be choice 3. That is the vertex form, and that is, in fact, your correct vertex. All right, moving on to 17. Here we go. A student invests $500 for 3 years in a savings account that earns 4% interest per year. No further deposits or withdrawals are made during this time. Which statement does not yield the correct balance in the account at the end of 3 years? Okay, I hope that you know this formula by now. Remember, A of t is equal to the principal times 1 plus or minus the rate raised to the t power. So what we get here is $500 is the initial amount invested. So that's going to be your p-value. So A of t is going to be 500 times 1 plus the rate of increase, which is 4%. So that's 0.04 raised to the third power for 3 years. So now your job is to correctly find which equation does not match this thing right here. Well, obviously, it's not going to be choice 1, because choice 1 is it's showing that exact same equation, except they just decided to combine the 1 and the 0.04. Okay, so that's good. Choice 2, 500 times 1 minus 0.04 to the third. Huh? Minus? No, I'm sorry. I thought that interest is increasing. Is it not? Wouldn't this be exponential decay? Meaning that you're losing money? Oh, God, no. You want to lose money on an account because I want money. So choice 2 is the correct answer. Choice 3 shows the expansion of this, because if you raise something to the third power, you could write it 3 individual times. So that is actually true. This one over here, this is just saying, okay, this is interesting how they did this. So they took the initial and they added the initial times the rate of increase. Then they took the next amount that they got and multiplied it again by the percent of increase. So this is actually true. So choice 2 is going to be the correct answer for number 17. Moving on to number 18. The line represented by the equation 4y plus 2x equals 33.6 shares a solution point with the line represented by the table below. the solution for this system is what? So basically, you're taking this line here, and you are trying to figure out what point matches up with this table. So if you were to graph this, in your calculator, let me graph that right now. Go to your graph, go to menu, go down to graph entry edit and click on relation. I'm going to type in 4y plus 2x is equal to 33.6. And you get this line right here. Now, the problem with this question... Actually, you know what? No. What's nice about this question is that they actually gave you some of the numbers as whole numbers. So let's try these first. So Control T. I'm gonna go. Oops. Control T. No, you're not doing that. Oh shoot. All right. Let me try that again. Hold on one moment. Bear with me, because I just want my table of values. So this is gonna be. Hold on 1 second. Negative 2x plus 33.6 divided by 4 equals y. Can I get it? Oh, you know what? No, wait a minute. I need to type this at menu, graph entry, edit function. There we go. Control division. Negative 2x plus 33. What I'm doing is I'm converting this into y equals mx plus b form, which is just the same line. I find it stupid that it doesn't even, like, give me a table of values for a relation, but whatever. Control T. Go down to negative 14 first. Negative 14. Negative 14 is the point. The y value is 15.4. Does that match to negative 1.4? No, it does not. Negative 6.8. All right, this is where it's going to get a little tricky. Negative 6.8. So that's between negative 6 and negative 7. So that's 11.4 and 11.9. So this value is between these two numbers. If you look at your answers, it's 5. That makes absolutely no sense. Now, 1.9 is quite close to the number 2. So the value is between 7.9 and 7.4. That's 4.6. Doesn't make any sense. Go down to the value of 6. 6 is 5.4. Hey, there it is. 5.4. So 6.0, comma 5.4 is the correct point that lies on this and this. They share that point right there. All good? Awesome. Wait, did I just not answer the question? Wait, I'm sorry. Well, actually, you know what? No, I'm right. Yes, because that is the only point out of all these answer choices that even lies on this line. Unfortunately, for this, they didn't tell you the 0.6. But if you want to be so 100% sure, type this into your calculator and get the linear regression curve, and your curve would be y is equal to 0.2x plus 4.2. Just take my word for it. If you graph this and this, you will get that 0.6.0, comma 5.4. But since this is the only point that even lies on the original line that we just got, that's your answer. Okay? Moving on to 19. What is the solution of the equation 2 times x plus 2 squared minus 4 equals 28? Okay, so I need to take 2. I need to write that x plus 2 2 times because it's squared. Oops. Okay, I'm now going to distribute these. So we get 2 times x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 4 equals 28. Distribute that 2. We get 2x squared plus 8x plus 8 minus 4 equals 28. Now we're going to subtract the 28 on both sides. So we get 2x squared plus 8x minus 24 equals 0. Now we just apply what adds to positive 8 and multiplies to give you negative 24. So, no, I'm sorry. I need to factor out a 2 first, stupid Trevor. Factor out a 2. You're left with x squared plus 4x minus 12. Now you apply the AM method. My apologies. I should have factored out a 2 first, or else you would have gotten a completely different answer. All right, now what adds to 4 multiplies to give you negative 12? So that gives you x plus 6, x minus 2, because 6 times negative 2 is negative 12, and 6 plus negative 2 is positive 4. That equals 0. T-bar, you get x equals negative 6, and x is equal to positive 2. So those, ladies and gentlemen, are your solutions to the equation. Your answer for this one is going to be choice 3. All right. Not too bad of a question. All right, moving on to question 20. I want a different color. Number 20. The dot plot shown below represents the number of pets owned by students in a class. Which statement about the data is not true? All right, the median is 3, the interquartile range is 2, the mean is 3, and the data contains no outliers. Okay, this is unfortunate, but you actually need to you need to input this into your calculator. Okay? And you can do this. It's a little bit of a pain in the neck, but you do have to do what you got to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my calculator, go to my lists and spreadsheets, and I'm going to put here I'm measuring pets owned by people. So, this is my pets owned, and this is my frequency. I can't spell. Frequency. Oh, come on. All right, freak. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to take these numbers, which are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the amount. So these numbers represent the actual number of pets that a person might own. And the frequency represents how many people own that many. Wait a minute. The number of pets owned by students in a class. So, this frequency represents the number of pets owned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my calculator, and the frequency. So for 0, there's 2. There's 2. For 1, there's 2. For 2, there are 5 dots. And then there's 5 dots again, then there's 3 dots, then there's 2 dots, and there's 1 dot. So again, the number of pets owned by students in a class. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do Control Doc, add a calculator, go to Menu, go down to Statistics, go to Stat Calculations. Now, I know that I just set up 2 columns, but it's still one variable statistic because you're only measuring the number of pets people have. So your X list is your pets owned. Your frequency list, that's the frequency that I just typed in. Click OK. This is the data that we need right here. Your min, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, max, and your mean is up here, which is 2.75. So your min is 0. Your quartile 1 is 2. Your median is 3. Your quartile 3 is 4. And your maximum is 6, and your mean is 2.75. So which statement about the data is not true? The mean is 3. That is definitely false. Because as you could see, the mean is 2.75. So that is going to be your answer. 21. What is the largest integer x for which the value of f of x equals this polynomial will be greater than the value of g of x equals 3 raised to the x? Graph it right now. So go to your graphing calculator. You are going to graph 5x to the 4th plus 30x squared plus 9. Enter that. You can't even see it because it's so gosh darn big, and 3 raised to the x. So what we do here is I'm actually just going to make up a table. So x, this is f of x, and this is g of x. So if you actually go to your table of values, and now there's 7, 8, 9, 10. So 7, 8, 9, and 10. When 7 is inputted into f of x, your value is 13,484. Okay? And when 7 is inputted in for g of x, that is equal to 2187. By the way, this is all found by doing Control T on your calculator and looking at 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you look here, we're looking for where the blue exceeds the red. Actually, no, sorry. What is the largest integer where the blue is exceeding the red? Because eventually the red will take over. So it looks like, just by looking at the values, that the red begins to take over really, really well at the number 10. And at the number 9, the blue is still in the lead. And how you know that is, again, if you just copy down your values, 409, 6561, 35244, 19683, 53009, and 59049. Okay, so these values were found by your table of values. This 9 right here is where f of x is still larger than g of x. As you could see over here, that number is less than this number over here, so 10 is not the answer. Your answer has to be choice 3, which is 9. And that's it. Number 22, the graphs of the functions f of x equals the absolute value of x minus 3 plus 1 and g of x equals 2x plus 1 are drawn. Which statement about these functions is true? So I'm going to go to my graphing calculator again. So the absolute value of x minus 3 plus 1. Enter. We get that function. And I'm going to graph 2x plus 1. And we get that. So they both intersect each other at this point. Menu, analyze, graph, intersection point. They both intersect at 1, 3. So it says here, okay, this is where you really need to know the language of algebra. The solution means x value because you're solving for the value of x. So the x value in this case is 1. That's the intersection point at x equals 1. So it's asking for the true statement. The solution to f of x, where f of x equals g of x, is 1. And that's the answer. The solution for this is 3. No, that's your y value. That's a common misconception that people make. The graphs intersect when y equals 1? Absolutely not. They intersect when y equals 3. And the graphs intersect when x equals 3? No, they intersect when x equals 1. So that's why choice 2 is going to be your answer. All right, moving on to 23. A store sells self-serve frozen yogurt sundaes. The function C of W represents the cost in dollars of a sundae weighing W ounces. An appropriate domain for the function would be what? So this represents W ounces. So W ounces is your domain. All right, it's really your X values, but in this case it's W. So, integers. Well, no, because ounces can't be negative. And integers can be negative, so ounces can't be negative. So that makes absolutely no sense. Choice 1's out. Rational numbers. Okay, rational numbers can be negative as well. So again, rational numbers, we can't be negative. We can't have negative ounces. Non-negative integers. So that means 0, 1, no, I'm sorry, not 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So any of those numbers. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Let's try choice 4. Non-negative rational numbers. Choice 4 is your answer. This is the better of the two choices. Because the last time I went to an ice cream shop that measures my ice cream, they do not tell me, Trevor, no, you got to get 6 ounces of ice cream. But what if I get 5.2 ounces? Well, they still weigh it, and they're like, okay, 5.2 ounces is how much the thing costs. So this is the better answer of the two. Non-negative rational numbers, because it doesn't necessarily have to weigh an exact integer. It could be a decimal. That's perfectly fine because, I mean, it is ounces, so That is the better answer of the two. Okay, moving on. 24, last question. Sarah was asked to solve this word problem. The product of two consecutive integers is 156. What are the integers? What type of equation should she create to solve this problem? So, consecutive integers. So, I'm going to let the letter x equal the first consecutive integer. Consecutive means one after the other. Now, I'm going to let x plus 1, which is the integer after, equal the second consecutive integer. So, if I just, now, they say product, so multiply these. So, x times x plus 1 equals 156. If I distribute that x, we get x squared plus x equals 156. Ladies and gentlemen, what type of equation is this? Well, there's an x squared here. X squared is a quadratic function. So your answer for that is going to be choice 2. And that's the end of the multiple choice. I hope that this helped. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below and visit my website at www.nysmathregentsprep.com for more math content in Algebra 1 and high school math subjects. And I will see you soon.